Let's just see what happens. Hi, everybody. We're going to go live in 10 seconds.
9, 6.
Welcome to Two Old Guys, and this is a show designed to bring people into the fullness of who they are so that they can accomplish what they've been called to do. Truly, we're just three normal guys, normal as can be, who want to help people change, even though they don't know that they need to or want to change. Of course, it's 20 months since that. You're caught in it. Today, well, guys, Mike, we're talking about what makes a good why.
Why? Why are we talking about that?
Well, because that's a good question. Because we're live. We're coming to you live. So we've changed up the format a little bit. We're going to be live every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Central. We're going to replay this show again at 5 p.m. on Friday, our original slot for your drive home, because you may just want to be in there. And then again on Tuesday morning at 9, right? So if you miss two Bald Guys and
Mike.
you can catch it a few different times here at 21.6 tonight. Last week, we challenged our listeners to go out and write down why. Question, just kind of question everything. Why am I doing this? Why did I eat this? Why did I exercise this way? Why did I
drink this?
Why did I respond? Why did I drink this? So hopefully you have done that. I worked on that this week. That's a tough exercise. It's a tough exercise. I don't know. Did you guys do any of that?
Mm-hmm.
How'd it go?
Yes. A lot of things I don't have an answer for. Or immediately you're like, why the hell
So
do I
true.
do this?
Exactly. So true.
When we stopped to question the things that we do, which is some of the things what I found the answer most of the time was, I don't know.
Yeah.
Why am I cooking this egg now? I don't know.
Seriously.
And it is, and we get stuck in patterns, and I think these patterns can be something that really starts to affect us, and we slow down and ask why. And we've had some real banter in the green room about why.
Yeah. So there were several times where I was like, why am I eating this sugar good? Because it tastes good. Right? Why am I eating the next one? Well, that's because I worked out today with Mike, so I burned more calories than I've taken in. Why are you eating the third one? It was around the third or fourth sugar cookie that I was like, I'm not sure why. I'm going to keep going. But that's the truth. So there were some difficult, hard to answer. I wouldn't say the question was difficult. Why is an easy question? The response that I would give was a bit more challenging. Now, we're big on goal setting. We're big on trying to improve people's lives. As we said, it's a show designed, to just help people uncover everything that they've got inside of them. And this topic came up because we all our good friend Simon Sinek, and Simon, thanks for tuning in. Is the thought leader on finding your why. He's written a book on it. He speaks about it. We all have at least watched his YouTube speech on it, and he's big on that. I don't know. So Simon, we'd love to have you on the show, but truthfully, this is a question I haven't been able to answer. I don't know what my why is, and we've watched it. Hey, ask that question, go down 7 layers or whatever it is, right?
7, 9, 13.
Until it burns and it makes you tear up. I don't tear up. I truly, as difficult as it may seem. So I'm going to lean on you guys, the experts here on content and why. I mean, what does make a good why?
We talked about this in the green room, your passion. A lot of times, something you get excited about, but where did that excitement come from? When did you become passionate about something? I remember, when I was young and running was a pain. I hated running. Then all of a sudden one day I'm winning a state championship. At what point did I develop that why to train to get? Was it my competitive nature? Was it I got excited about it? I figured out later in life I still don't like to run.
Did you eat paint chips when you were a kid?
I
live under a power line?
I never really liked to run, but what I found out was running burned off the excess energy and kept me calmer. You're talking about ADHD. I was clearly that guy, but when I could exercise, when I could run
back then,
it was just
a little too much energy.
Yeah,
back
we didn't medicate it; we beat it.
That's right. That's right.
But the things that excite you, a lot of times, are your why. A lot of times we get going, and the wrong things excite us.
Okay.
Drinking or drugs, heroin.
So passionate about that. It's not necessarily my why. Mike, what say you?
Well, for me, it was my journey to find my why was a little bit more difficult because I was always jealous of people who seemed like they knew exactly what their passions were, and the things that would, get them excited. And it wasn't like things didn't make me excited. The problem was a lot of different things made me excited all the time. And I've always been a jack of all trades, master of none at all kind of person. And so that was confusing for me because I didn't have any, kind of solid skill set to rely on to be like, okay, this, kind of identifies a direction to go in. I like a million different things. So it was kind of a very blurred, murky water kind of.
So as you're working with people to uncover their why, what do you do? How do you do it? I mean, what makes a good why?
So eventually it gets narrowed down because I think the why is rooted so deep into like the soil of the soul, right? It goes way down.
The soil of the soul.
Yeah, that was. Did you like that?
I did.
Soil of the soul.
That. The soil of
that's
the soul.
.com. Yeah.
And just like a root system, right? Where you can have these shallow roots, which are these these kinds of shallow whys, and I do something because maybe I like doing it. I like the feeling of it or whatever. So getting down to to that core, that really strong passion and that strong drive for for someone like me who's like I don't really understand this. It took a lot of time and searching and patience, and trying different things. And there are some, different things that I'd like to point out, maybe techniques, but definitely the time and patience to search for it.
So if you can imagine a giant oak tree and the root system of this oak tree, you're saying that the big deep tap root, as they may call it, right? That's where your why stems from. Down deep, guttural, just bleh, right? How do you get there? Sounds great. How do you get there? Right. So, and here's why I say that. We talked about in the green room, 21-6 the net, and thanks for getting caught in 21-6 the net, is it's been happening now, going on, 4 years. Be 4 years in March, right?
March 1st.
2 bald guys and a microphone came about September of 2016. So we're really 6 years into this journey, right? And of course, we took a little bit of time off until we found the right mic to come back with, and here we are. But as I said, somebody could come up to me and go, "Hey, why do you spend so much time on shows and whatnot with 216 The Net?" Because it's my business, right? My true why is I'm not sure, but it's become such a huge part of my life now that I don't envision life without it, right? So the idea is I'm not sure my why. Shayna, how are you? Can pain avoidance be a why? And hi guys. Yeah,
we talked about that.
Absolutely. Fear, pain. You know, a lot of the good gurus, you know, out there, Tony Robbins and some other great thought leaders, Dean Grazioli, I said that wrong, Dean, I apologize, Brendan Burchard, you know, Mel Robbins, you know, just a lot of people out there will say, you know, change happens in an instant, and it happens out of pain or pleasure, or fight or flight, right? And yeah, pain avoidance can be a huge why. I don't want to do that, or fear. I'm afraid to, you know, whatever. Somebody could come and offer me a huge chunk of money for this corporation that I own, and I would go, all right, where do I sign? Let's go. And then I always follow that caveat, and I could do it again. And I have no idea why. I really don't. You know, I enjoy. I learn. You know, maybe my why is I learn a ton of crap from all the great content that's shared on 216 The Net. I do, and people are always like, "Hey, man, you ask great questions, Kent." I'm like, it's because I'm learning. I am literally outside of the goofy ones, but still, I have fun with those. I literally learn so much from all the great content on 216 The Net. It's wonderful, right? And maybe that's my why is I'm still trying to sharpen that saw, you know, and that's that. Maybe I don't know. Right?
You ever have that knife that you just can't sharpen?
Yeah. Right. So yeah, you know, what do you guys say to that? Yeah, I think pain avoidance or pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain things that we don't do. I'm not going to put my hand in that fire because it's going to burn me. So pain avoidance. But when it comes to working out, I know I'm going to have sore muscles if I do this, but I know those sore muscles are going to build me going forward. So yeah. I think it's, you know, pick your pain, pick your pleasure, understanding that the results are really what I'm looking for, not the situation I'm in currently.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you mentioned, because that was one of the things that I was thinking about actually on the way over here was the Tony Robbins pain and pleasure thing. And there was a strength coach that I knew, or that I watched. His name was Charles Poliquin. He's passed away a couple of years ago. But he said that one of his lines was that self-discipline is bullshit. It's not real. And that you do what you want to do. Because regardless of what option you choose, you always choose the thing that you wanted to do more than the other thing. And so it's the honesty and the understanding, why did I choose that option versus the other thing? So kind of like, you know, if I want to lose 10 pounds versus, you know, eating a cupcake, but then I eat the cupcake, and it's not that I need to be more self-disciplined. It's just that I wanted to eat the cupcake more than I wanted to lose the 10 pounds. So going and looking at it that way for me has helped to understand, okay, if I'm making this, if I'm choosing this thing, then there's some reason why I want to do that thing more. Mm-hmm. And so I need to kind of look at that and understand that.
So Zig Ziglar, one of my mentors, says I weighed over 200 pounds most of my adult life on purpose because I never ate anything on accident. And, you know, it's along that same line. Everything is a choice. And that every choice gives us at least two answers, or there wouldn't be a choice, right? Right. So I really like what you said there. I wanted to eat the cupcake more than I wanted to lose the 10 pounds. Why?
Right.
You know, it comes down to why. Why?
Right.
Why is a cupcake better?
I don't like cupcakes. Here as you're talking, and your root system getting down into the soil or the soul.
Right.
What makes a good why is something you can't make an excuse against. Right? So a good why is, why did I eat that? You know what? I worked out today so I can have that cupcake.
There we go.
You see what I'm saying? That's not so now I'm going against whatever reason it is that I decided to go work out and try to get quote unquote healthy. And I've made an excuse. So I'm not listening to that taproot. I'm not listening to that deep dug in root, right? It's just kind of coming to me as I'm sitting here listening to you guys. But the idea is, whatever the why is, you can't make an excuse or go against it. Right. So you and I work out. You're my trainer, and I've got stronger, different areas that we've worked on. I still sweat when I try to walk with a rubber band on my legs. It's crazy. I don't understand it. But the idea is, why am I doing that? Right. You talked a little bit about it on our last episode. Why, because you want to have better sex, or you remember you had said that, right? You're like, but people don't understand that that's their why. Right. The idea I think is that your why or your purpose or that deep root that you're talking about, you can't battle against. If you're there and there's $100,000 laying on a table, and you're either going to take that or you're going to say, hey, did somebody lose $100,000? Because that would go against your why or your purpose.
Did somebody lose $100,000? No.
Right. Yeah. Not all choices are conscious. Yeah. That's it. Some of them are in there. Lisa, how are you? Thanks for joining. And of course, you can always catch Lisa's shows, Changing Perceptions. Lisa's Changing Perceptions on Sundays, right here, 21/6 the Net at 9 a.m. Check her out at www.lisaschangingperceptions.com or on www.216thenet.com. Just click her page and it'll take you right to her website as well. Here's the other thing that we're going to ask y'all to do. If you haven't yet, go out to our YouTube channel. We're stretching for 1,000 subscribers. We only need 793 more. So like us, subscribe, ring the bell, help us out that way. Would be huge. So many use revenge. Ooh, that's
Revenge is a why.
That is good. Yeah, I'll get you.
Is
Let
it
me
the
be
revenge
karma.
weight loss?
Yeah, let me.
You
be
dumped
karma.
me because I was fat, so I'm going to lose all my weight and make you.
Yeah. So many people have a why that is not their own voice, and many people have a why that is other people's voices.
Well, that's a great point. Today, people are listening so much to the news that's out there. They attach their why to what somebody, the loudest voice or the squeakiest wheel that's out there, and it's not their why. It's I like that. Very well said.
That's interesting, right? So, as you're trying to uncover what doesn't work, and Simon, I apologize. You're brilliant, and please come on and talk with us. We can link you in. I really appreciate that. Anyway, how do I find that part that's deep into the soil of the soul?
Part of the things one of the things, and I would say, because there's a few main things that I kind of point out as being like these pillars, and for one of those things, it was, what if I'm doing something, what things am I willing to say no to? So it's not just about what I'm saying yes to, but what other things that come in, am I willing to say no to? And that's where stuff also started to get narrowed down You know, was in, if I have, you know, a bunch of things that I'm, you know, wanting to do, what is it that if I get, you know, 10 years down the road from now, if I don't do that thing, is really going to hurt, you know, and starting to kind of look at it that way, brought some things into focus.
So ask yourself, if I don't, or what are something I don't like?
What are the consequences?
Right. And beginning to really project myself, you know, into, you know, the future, and see myself. And, you know, if I get to this point in my life and if there's something that I haven't accomplished, or at least tried to accomplish, what is that thing that it's going to mess me up if I have not tried to, you know, at least go after that thing. And that takes a little bit of searching, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever done that. You know,
but you're one of those lucky guys who has that. You said you have that thing that you're going after, and maybe you don't really cognitively have a why I'm doing this, but you're driven toward it, right?
Yeah.
So I think that I mean, for you, that's kind of, I mean, that's a great thing, because then you don't even need to really, you know, you just have that passion driving you toward it. There's no confusion there. You're just like, I'm going for it.
Yeah, but I don't even know what I'm going for. And that's, I mean, the tough thing is, I think is I'm having a hard time going from my mind space to that guttural, you know, soil of the soul. I just love that term, and you do need to copyright that. It's incredible. But you know, I'm having a hard time going from there to there. Going, my mind or whatever, or my life, my 52 and a half years of life is saying, you've done okay so far, right? And keep doing what you're doing. But I don't even, you know, I'm paddling a boat. I don't even know where I'm paddling to. If that makes sense. I don't know.
It does. Several years ago, I had one of my soccer teams, our mantra was not why, it was why not. Anytime someone asks a question, why do we have to run another wind sprint? Why not? You know, why do we do this? Why not? But when we were listening to Simon Sinek earlier, one of the things he's saying is why is one of the most difficult questions to answer, because it's emotionally based. We can logic. What are you going to do at the gym? Well, I'm going to lift weights. I'm going to sweat with a rubber band around my legs. I'm going to do whatever. I can talk about the what, but why am I going to do that? Well, because Mike said so, and Mike's
true. Yeah, he's that accountability partner. Yeah.
Right. So getting down and really finding the why it's a difficult challenge. I don't know. Do you have anything people can do, or do you work with your clients to help them uncover their why?
Stand in front of the mirror naked. If you don't like what you see, guess what?
Oh, there's a why for you.
Right. Yeah. So you're working with a guy like me. Show up, I do it. I'm starting to work on the days off now. But today I go, what? Well, I think I got to do more cardio. I want to be 210 by the end of the year. And you kind of laugh and smile, right? Idiot. You know.
Which year?
Yeah, right. You know, not the goal, but the way that I think I need to go about it, right? And that's why you're like, oh, dummy. So the, you know, again, that why. I am like most people. I understand the need to. I don't understand the why. I don't have that purpose. Mm-hmm. Right? So, like my parents, 70 years old, 10 years ago, you need to change your lifestyle or you will not make it to 80. They're both 80. Mm-hmm. That's a big why right there. Yeah. Right? It's like, whoa. Okay. So if it's a matter of life and death, we understand the why, because we all think we want to live. Mm-hmm. Right? So when it's not that matter of life and death, it's not a matter of fear. It's not that matter of pain. Mm-hmm. How do you guys uncover that why? How do you help you coach? You're a life coach. You've coached hundreds of people, thousands of athletes. How do you do it?
Well, there's a process to it, and it begins by really understanding where they're at and why they sit down with a life coach. Why do they think that they need somebody else in their life to accomplish what they need to accomplish? And then we go through a goal setting process of saying, now this is where we want to be. So we know where they are, we know where they want to be, and now we put together a plan to get them there. But until you know where you are, you can't identify where you want to go. Map reading instructor told me two things. Number one, he said, you're never lost if you don't care where you're at. And, I was like, okay, he's being funny. But if you haven't taken the time to define success, whether it's in working out or financial or relational, if you haven't taken the time to define success, you don't know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, probably not going to get there.
Yeah. Or maybe you will.
Or maybe you might. The other thing he said, it doesn't matter where you've been, you're here now. Where are you going to go? And how are you going to get there? And so many people think we're trapped by our past decisions. And maybe, from a weight management perspective, since we seem to be on that topic, we are where we are today because of what we ate yesterday, the day before and the day before. But we're here now. It doesn't matter where we've been. Where do we want to go? I want to get to 210 by the end of the year. Well, if we want to get to 10, the easiest way is to cut off a leg. But there's other ways probably to accomplish it. And that starts with inviting someone into your life who's going to...
A little bit of back fat too.
who's going to not just encourage you, but mentor you through the process.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if we go back to, so you're wanting to lose, however much weight, you want to get down to 210 pounds. So, I mean, that goal when you come into the gym is kind of, I mean, it's relatively arbitrary, right? Because what does 210 mean? So, but there's something in that number that's linked to, whatever, you have an image of what you're going to look like or what you're going to feel like. There's some kind of, so if we're going to the pain and pleasure thing, there's some kind of pleasure that you're seeing that you're going to get when you get to the number, 210. But along the way, as you're going, you start to find out, okay, I got to put all this work into it. There's a lot of, suffering and garbage.
The reason is I don't want Alice to have that gag reflex every time I take my shirt off.
So the gag reflex is linked to...
Or she actually goes to a comedian to get a laugh.
That's right.
Is linked to 210, right? So as you're going, you start to, you want to adjust that goal because you're going to find out, well, maybe this isn't really, I'm not going to derive as much pleasure from this as I can, but there's some reason why I'm here in the first place and going after that. Yeah. So we got to keep uncovering it.
Shana says, the why comes from a deep self-evaluation. Unfortunately, some of us have become quite adept at lying to ourselves. God bless the ones who can call us out on our BS.
Amen. There's a lot of truth there. I mean, that's why
I think she's calling us out. I'm not sure.
Well, she could be, but that's why that's why you hire somebody like Mike to hold you accountable. When you have a little bit of skin in the game, you're like, oh man, I got to get there now. This is costing me something. I don't. It's a little bit of me. I enjoy the time. I learn a lot from him. Spiritually, I mean, we he trains more than just physical, which is great, and I don't want to miss out on that, right? So here you go. And again, I don't understand why I shake just trying to hold myself off the ground and sweat like I do, but I do, right?
It's the secondary muscles kicking in. Just...
Yeah, talk about deep rooted fat we're trying to get out. All right, so anyway, that to me really makes sense, right? And the hard thing is my mind, right? My mind says I'm already at 210. I've got a picture in my main bedroom that is my wedding picture, and people will come in and go, wow, who's that, Alice? Because she looks great. They know it's her. She doesn't look too different, right? I look totally different. I actually look like my son Spencer, right? And people are like, I go, that's her first husband. I ate him. right? So I wasn't 210, I was 175 and 22 years old, so I was a baby. But I can get up and look. I've got that image. I get out of the shower and there's an old fat guy staring back at me in the mirror, but my mind says, that's you. That's what you look like. And it's very hard then. And then that's when it's easy for me to go, I'll just have these 3 sugar cookies.
I'll start tomorrow.
I'll start, right?
I'll procrastinate.
I'll walk an extra block, right? Yeah. I'll walk an extra block. I'll burn these right up. So I truly think that what makes a good why is something that you can't put anything else in front of. You can't make an excuse for. You can't talk yourself out of, right? When you get down to that, the soil of the soul, you're in deep, right? I mean, here's the truth. Tim, you grew up in Nebraska. I grew up in Iowa. Hog farmers don't know they smell like hog shit.
This is true.
Not just them, their entire house. They don't know.
It's the smell of money.
It's the smell of money.
I've tried to convince my wife of that for years. And
However, you show up or you bump into one of those guys at the bar and you're like, and he just showered. And you're like, woo, right? That's the soil of the soul we're talking about. Is you can't get that stink off of it. You don't even know that stink is there, but you're in so deep that you can't make an excuse or go in a different direction. That's what makes a good why.
Yeah,
that's a purpose. That's the guttural. Hey, again, do you pocket that 100,000 and look the other way, or do you say, hey, did anybody lose this money? Right,
going once.
Yeah. So I think that what makes a good why is you're in it. You can't run away from it.
There?
Yeah, no, that's Shayna. She already said that. So. All right. So what are a couple of things to do to find that soil of the soul?
To find the soil of the soul.
Right, because that's where that's where the root is. That's where the root lies of your why, your purpose.
Shayna calls it a deep self-evaluation, but during that self-evaluation, what questions do you ask? What are you looking for? What is your due diligence to find your why? The why has to be supported by evidence of progress, for me at least. Pity parties are celebrated with donuts.
Yeah, I love donuts too. So what are a couple things that you can do to get into that soil of the soul, that deep
soil
roots?
Of the soul. I think that's a show right there all by itself.
Welcome to the soil of the soul. Not the soil, not the soil of the boxers. The soil of the soul. What do you got? What's a couple? Give me 2 things I can do, Coach.
Have a visual of where you want to be, not imagination, but a true visual of what you're trying to accomplish, and make it realistic. We've all gone through crash diets, right? We've lost X amount of weight for a wedding or for a cruise or whatever. As soon as it's over, it's done. One of the things that we've been talking about is the number I want to get to is 210. But what activities do you have to do to get to 210? And make the activities your goal, not the 210. The 210 will happen when you do the right activities. So I think one of the first things is you really have to identify what it is.
Hey, Gary.
He is here.
He is
here.
here.
What are you trying to accomplish? Is it a weight loss? Is it a spiritual foundation? Is it a relational issue? What are you trying to accomplish? And begin to outline that. Once you start to outline it, you've got to really dive into it. Why do I want to accomplish that? As Mike said to you, why do you want to get to 210? Why not 209? Why not 211? Why is 210 the magic number.
Because Gary, we decided to start going live on Wednesday nights, but it will replay on Friday at the regular time and on Tuesday at the regular time. So we just thought we'd have a little bit of fun.
When we say hi to you, we want you there to say hi
To
back,
say hi
Gary.
back. Okay. What are some other things that the two things that you can give people to do to get into that soil of the soul?
One of the first pieces of advice I would give myself, if I could go back, that I wouldn't listen to anyways because I didn't listen to anything, would be to not be afraid of an abnormal or out of the ordinary process. As far as getting stuck in the idea that okay, you go through high school, you graduate, you go to college, and then that kind of defines your life at that point. And then if you miss that kind of boat, then everything's already kind of set in stone, and then you're kind of stuck and screwed. And for me, that was an idea, and for a lot of other people that I've met, that's kind of an idea too. So getting out of that, maybe that rut of mindset and realizing, there's a million different directions that I can go in no matter what age I am. And
not to be afraid of is how you started. Not to be afraid of
this, of not having a like an abnormal process or an abnormal journey as far as like something that's outside of the average.
Interesting. Yeah, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of it.
Yeah.
don't
That's
be
interesting.
afraid.
That is good stuff.
What about you, Mr. Jones?
And again, I'll go back to say this is a question I haven't been able to answer. Right, I've got some good things from this show, which is great. Here, this may sound weird.
Coming from you?
You have to become an outside observer of your own life. Okay. Many years ago on Two Bald Guys and a Microphone, we talked about if your mind recognizes who you are, it knows your face, even though it's never seen it directly, it's only seen a reflection of it. So think of that, right? And
That's deep.
you look at yourself, your life in the mirror, when you're in the mirror questioning yourself, and your mind goes, no, man, I love you. You're okay. Most of the time, right? So many years ago, and you'll remember this episode, and you can go back and check it out on Two Bald Guys and a Microphone Facebook page or whatever. And the idea was take a brown paper sack and cut 2 eye holes in it, like the Unknown Comic from the Gong Show, and look at yourself in the mirror with that brown paper sack over your head. No, Lisa, not plastic, and you do have to cut eye holes. I know what she was going to ask. Brown paper sack, and look at yourself. Your mind will not recognize who it is, and you'll just see the body in front of you. And your mind will think differently.
I'm going to try this.
Right? Your mind will think differently. So you have to, I think you have to become an outside observer in your own life. Lisa commented earlier, you don't hear your own voice. You hear somebody else's. And that's because you're in the midst of it. You want somebody to guide you, push you, give you an idea, whatever the case may be. You have to become an outside observer in your own life to say, I hear this. Right? We've heard of people having outer body experiences, near-death experiences, things like that. We've all written our own life scroll, right? And we're on this journey that we know what's happening. And somewhere in the folds of our mind, we go, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. The fact of the matter is you could be doing a lot better, right? You're capable of lifting a car off of a baby to save a baby. But you're not capable of lifting that car up to change the tire. Okay. So there's things that we can do, but you have to kind of get out of your own way and be an observer over here. Guess why there's all these mirrors at the gym? It's not to see if you're doing the exercise right. It's for your mind to say, you're doing a great job. I mean, go to a gym. Every morning we're there. I'm looking at everybody's doing the same exercise 45 different ways. And they're all looking in the mirror going, yeah, I'm killing this, you know? And there are some that I'm like, that doesn't even make sense what you're doing to me.
Does the coach and you ever want to walk over and say, hey,
Not looking like this. Hey, listen, I think those ab crunches you're doing, here's some star crunches, you know, right? But truthfully, that's why the mirrors are there, for your own mind to go, I'm doing this. How many times do your clients, how many times have your clients, worked out hard? The next morning, you got all that lactic acid build up, and you're like, man, I can see the difference. No, you can't. You can feel it, right? And then I'm okay for the next couple days because I got to let this pain subside.
It's got to be a rest day
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
first day of exercise.
Right. So if you truly want to get to that soil of the soul, you want to see where that root is, you have to start climbing the tree, right? You've got to get out of your own way and say, let me look at my life. What am I doing right now? What is happening? I used to make fun of people who look like me. One was my dad. Like, God, Dad, how you let yourself go? Now look at, I'm like, can't you idiot? I should have said, Dad, how do you look so good all the time? Right? I don't know.
Cats in a cradle and a silver spoon.
Yeah, what's that say, Coach? Shayna has something great there.
Shane always had something great. I was just checking the
Weather?
time in Singapore to make sure what time it was so I could say good morning to Gary.
He's 14 hours ahead of us.
Yeah, it's 8:06 or 80 something.
Yeah. This time of the year, he's 14 hours ahead of us. In a few
Hers
months,
has
he'll only be 13 hours.
Hers is not updated if you highlight it.
All right. She says, recognizing that my self-abuse was not contained to just myself, it became part of my why. Guilt became a motivational tool. I knew it would come in handy someday.
But is guilt a motivational tool?
Well, it can be. Sure. Can somebody read that one for me? This is Lisa. She should have a different voice.
There's an unconscious process that brings on self-sabotage for many. If the trainer would like to call, I can explain it, and it may help him with some of his clients. All right.
By the trainer.
I believe she's talking about Mike.
Glad she didn't put it in quotes, though. The trainer.
Thought trainer.
All right, we're down to the last 3 minutes. We've given you some takeaways, right, to find that soil of the soul, as Mike called it. Find that deep root to try to help you get out of your way. Continually kind of chop it down to find out what your why is, or what that deep root that you can't make excuses for is your why, right? Mm-hmm. Next week is a big week for us. We're going to be talking about why air quotes self-help gurus don't help.
And we've got a guest.
We got a special guest. Dr. Stan Harris is going to be with us,
known as Dr. Breakthrough.
Dr. Breakthrough. This guy comes with great stuff. This guy, you will be fired up from next week's show. This guy is top shelf, right? Great guy. Personal friends of one of my. I would say I'm a junkie. For one of my favorite motivation. Les Brown is one of my favorite motivational speakers. I love his cadence. I love what he says. He's just cool. So he's a personal friend of Les Brown. It's gonna be cool. Nicole Elizabeth, hi girl, how are you? Selling water bottleless. There you go. What's it say? Hope to see Damon on the show. You know what? We have been in conversations with Damon's people, and if we can swing it, and
our peeps talk to his peep.
Yeah, we'll be able to hopefully get him on too. We're excited. He was very excited to see that we are back Two
Bald guys and
Mike.
absolutely. For all of us here at 21.6net, thanks for getting caught in the net with us. We're going to come back next Wednesday at 5:30. You can also catch this episode Fridays at 5 and then on Tuesday morning at 9. Here's the cool thing. Everybody tune in on Friday at 8 p.m. You can check it out on 216thenet Facebook, www.216thenet, or go to the YouTube channel for Dream Home Experts. They're kicking off season number 4 this Friday, the 14th, and it's going to be a killer show. A lot of neat things happening there. Trust me, it's one you don't want to miss. It's going to be great.
so get out to 216 the net on YouTube, subscribe, and encourage your friends and family to do the same, because this is where things are.
And when we say that, your 793 friends,
yes,
specifically.
Maybe it's down to 792. I think Nicole Elizabeth just went and subscribed to our
Nice.
our YouTube channel.
All right. For all of us here at 216net, thanks for getting caught in the net. This is Two
Bald Guys and
Mike.
And there it goes.